Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin, and today I'm doing a February wrap-up video of all the books I read. Here's a little look. So I actually read 5 books this month, which I'm really happy with because the first book I'm going to talk about is quite big, and it is what I started February off with, which is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This is about 800 pages. I honestly thought this was going to be the only book I read this month. But it's not. I really enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. I'm in a whole Russian lit phase right now, so this was my first Tolstoy. I'm very happy with it. The reason I gave it 4 stars and not 5 is because I've noticed that Tolstoy likes to ramble a bit about. Well, I actually liked all the farming rambles. It was more the long stretches of talking about. I don't even know what Alexei. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Anna Karenina's husband. I think he was in the government. That's kind of what I got out of it. I did not like those rambles, and I think Tolstoy really hammered in some ideas just over and over, and I was like, I get it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Levin was definitely my favorite character. I also really liked Dolly and Stiva, which is probably an unpopular opinion, but I thought his character was very layered. He always did the wrong thing, but still came across as a good guy, kind of. I mean, cheating on his wife is obviously not good, but I don't think anyone really thought of him as a bad person. And I really liked the depth and all the layers of his character. Levin I loved because he is just so relatable. I relate so much of him, and the last part of this book, just everything that happened with Levin is transformation, I guess. I don't know how to explain it because it seemed like he found some type of clarity, but at the same time, like, the clarity was nothing. He just wanted to keep living. Like, Levin was my favorite character. Dolly I really liked because her and Anna are very similar. They end up in similar situations, but Dolly decides to stay with Stiva, and her storyline kind of depicts that outcome, and she did what she was supposed to do as a woman in Russian society in the 1800s. And she actually regrets it, and I feel like she looks to Anna with a sort of jealousy and admiration towards the end of the book, whereas Anna did the opposite of what a woman in society during that time period would have done. She ran off with Vronsky, who I did not like his character at all, but she went off with Vronsky to pursue actual love, and unfortunately it led to her demise, but that's her own problem. I did not like Anna that much. I did not really care for her. I really understood her character though, like her mindset, how when she was with Vronsky, she kind of kept doubting his love for her and just spiraling, which I can relate to. I don't know if I should admit to that on camera, but I do understand her character. I do get it. She just was not my favorite. Anna Karenina was great. I really want to read War and Peace now. Don't know when that will happen, but if you haven't read Anna Karenina, I highly recommend. Most people would agree. Okay, anyway. The next book I read is Vita, Nuova, or A New Life by Dante. So I'm in a whole classic phase. I picked this up because my favorite author, Nikolai Gogol, I'm currently reading right now, he wanted his novel Dead Souls to kind of be a three-parter, like the Divine Comedy by Dante. I am not in a place to read Dante's Divine Comedy after finishing Anna Karenina. I can't do it. I needed short books. This is very short. It's under 100 pages. This is a mixture of poetry and prose, which I really, really enjoyed, actually. Literary people, I guess, say you should read this before the Divine Comedy because this story details Dante's love for Beatrice. So the introduction obviously introduces the book, and it kind of breaks this book up into three phases. So the first phase is Dante seeing Beatrice, and she doesn't have like the best first impression of him. So he kind of goes through it. There's a lot of like anxiety in his feelings. I think it's great. I think I gave this 4 stars because I really like the beginning and the end. The end deals a lot with loss and grief and heartbreak. The middle, honestly, I can't even remember what the middle talked about, which is not good. Because honestly, I did not read this that long ago. But I did really like it. I am trying to get into poetry for spring, and this was great. But I did really like it. I thought the notes in the back of the book were super helpful, easy to understand. If you're looking for poetry, try this out. You might really like it. Next, a book I have been waiting to read for quite a while, actually. This is White Nights by Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky is one of my favorite authors. He's like tied with Nikolai Gogol. I can't pick. Don't make me pick because I'm not picking. Anyway, I wanted to read White Nights because I've read Notes from the Underground and Crime and Punishment. Really, really love those stories. But I wanted to read this specifically because 1, I knew it was a love story, which I wanted for February. And 2, this was pre-Siberia for Dostoevsky, so I wanted to see how his writing kind of changed between before going to Siberia and afterwards. My thoughts on this, I was kind of disappointed, and I feel horrible saying that. I'm like, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge Dostoevsky? Let's be honest. I think I gave this 3 stars because I did like it. I just did not like the dialogue. The love story felt very high school, very childish, and I do want to say that relationships progress so much differently now than they did in the 1800s. The way the protagonist and Nastenka were talking reminded me of middle school, like a middle school relationship, and it was just so cringy to me. I could not get behind it. But there are some beautiful quotes in here. Dostoevsky's essence is still in this book. I will say he seems a little more hopeful. He still is very lonely. His main character still likes to walk around a lot and live in a state of delirium, which I always enjoy. So you do see parts of, or at least I saw parts of Notes from Underground, like the Underground Man. I saw parts of him in this. I saw parts of Raskolnikov in this. Only 3 stars for White Nights. I really was expecting more, but it's okay. I still love Dostoevsky. No, it's fine. It's literally fine. So the next book I read is The Adam and Eve Story by Chan Thomas. So this book was published in 1965 and it was classified by the CIA pretty quickly. I don't think many books were actually even published. It became declassified maybe like 10 years ago. Honestly, I could be lying. I don't know. I'm probably lying. My brother told me to read this. I think this is a lot of conspiracy. So basically the point of this is Chan Thomas believes he knows how the world is going to end. He has put together kind of the pieces based on history, based on what we know about Adam and Eve, Genesis, flooding, earthquakes, and the reason why I don't particularly care for this is all of his information is correlation. I'm no scientist, but I do remember correlation is not causation. So I think a lot of what he has to say is compelling. It definitely could be true, but this is not definite proof that he knows how the world is going to end. He believes the world goes through a cataclysm every 6,500 years, and if you didn't know, according to Chan Thomas, that's soon. That's kind of soon. The story of Adam and Eve is a recreation story, not a creation story as we believe, well, we Christians, Catholics believe it to be. So he believed that was a cataclysm 11,500 years ago, and then Noah from Noah's Ark was 6,500 years ago, and the next one should be coming soon. And that could be the coming of Jesus Christ. So, I don't know, as I said, all the data is correlated. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying that the poles won't flip. But who am I to say? Who am I to say? I don't know. So I gave it 3 stars because it was definitely intriguing. It was a quick read. If science and apocalypses and cataclysms interest you, give it a read. The last book I read this month was Macbeth. I have been reading a few plays by Shakespeare. I read Othello last month. I read Romeo and Juliet forever ago. I might reread that, but I really, really liked Macbeth. I thought it was so interesting. It's about Macbeth, who is, I guess, kind of like a baron, and these witches come to him and are like, you can become king, and then Macbeth is like, oh, I'll just go kill the king, and the prophecy will be true, and everyone dies. Not everyone. Most people die. I really like Lady Macbeth. She's like all for it. She doesn't even try to stop Macbeth. Macbeth is like, these witches, they came to me and were like, I could be king, so I'm gonna kill King Duncan. And Lady Macbeth was like, hell yeah, go for it. I support you and I'll even help you out. I really enjoyed it. As I have said, I encourage you to read it. Shakespeare is not as intimidating as you think, and while I am on like a Russian lit journey, I am going on my little like Shakespeare tour too, so I think I'm gonna read Hamlet next month. Do we like Hamlet? I hear such good things about Hamlet, but I don't know. What do you think? Tell me. Right now I am starting off the month of March with Dead Souls. I picked this up to read it and I get so excited that I can't actually focus on reading it, which is so stupid, but I am so excited to be reading this. I just finished the introduction and page 1. So I'm actually going to be filming a vlog of just me reading this because this is like a big thing for me. It's just a big thing for me. So I'm going to be reading this for the beginning of March, and I'll keep you guys updated on what else I decide to read. Let me know in the description box. 1, if you have read any of these books that I mentioned and your thoughts, or if you haven't read them, just let me know what you read in February. I'd love to know. I'm always looking for book recommendations because the way I've been reading, I might actually read like a lot in my life. So yeah, this is my first book video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you have a great start to the month of March. Okay, that's it. Bye!